Today we will be looking at how to complete an assessment for a client. You will want to ensure you have your client open, and if you don't, you'll want to do a client search. To look for your assessment, you can either utilize your magnifying search or your quick links. You'll want to select Assessment Client, and it will take you directly to the assessment template. After the assessment template is open, you will review the effective date and the assessment date. These auto-populate to the day that you open the template. So if you're completing a assessment from days prior, you will want to ensure you enter those dates correctly into both the effective date and the assessment date. The assessment document is used for both the mental health and SUD and gambling assessments. At this time, we cannot remove the UNCOPE and the PES and the Family Medical History tabs. Also, we cannot add the GAD-7, the SDOH, and the gambling screens as tabs. You will have to complete these tools as standalone documents, and so those will need to be completed after your assessment. Once Sreamline releases their new assessment document, we will have more flexibility around these needs. The release date has not been confirmed. The first assessment will default as initial. The second assessment added to the client's chart will give you the option to identify it as an update or an annual. If the client had a mental health assessment earlier in the month and is now coming in for the SUD assessment, you will want to mark it as an update. You will also be able to select whether it's an adult assessment or a child, and then it auto-populates the age and the birth date of the client. So you will want to complete the rest of the initial tab. Once you have completed the tab, you will then select the different tabs in the assessment. The next tab is the UNCOPE. You will then complete the full tab. The next tab is the PES tab. Again, you will complete the entire tab. The next tab is the psychosocial adult, and again, if this was a child, it would be a different tab. You will complete all of these. You can add any medication. You can initialize. You can list, and then you can also indicate that there's no medication. After completing the full tab, you will then be able to complete your PHQ-9. This will have the date and time of when you completed the PHQ-9. You can also select now and it would auto-populate that information. You can also indicate whether the client declined to participate, and it will gray out all of the questions below. The next tab is supports. Here you can add any supports. You can also add, by selecting the tab, any additional ones. The next tab is mental status. Again, you will want to complete all of the different questions on here. And one thing to point out is you can add any of these to the needs list, which will then populate to the individualized service plan. So if I select affect as part of the needs, because this is something that I will be working on with my client, then I would indicate that there and then address any of the questions below. You will complete these all until you're fully answering all of the questions below.